Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at a game called Fingered! This is made by the mind behind The Binding of Isaac and The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, Edmund Mcmillan. I can actually say his name correctly if I can see it, and James It. Now, Edmund Mcmillan is mostly a concept guy and an artist. He doesn't really program, so that puts him in a unique position where he kind of has to partner with willing collaborators, whereas most critically acclaimed successful indie people kind of are the programmer first, and then they would hire out artists or musicians and things like that second. In a weird way, normally I would say I am not particularly interested in the idea of artists trying to make video games, but for the exemption of Edmund Mcmillan, I would say his format, his paint really is video games. He understands them, he's played a lot of them, obviously, he's very inspired by them. You see that in The Binding of Isaac. I just finished playing The Binding of Isaac Rebirth base game, and eventually I'll get around to playing the first bit of DLC Afterbirth. So, what is Fingered? It's a small little game that came out, I believe, somewhere around Rebirth, probably a little bit earlier than that. It does seem like that's how it usually goes, is that there's one or two small games released in between, going back to The Binding of Isaac. Well, I'll try not to compare everything to Binding of Isaac, but it's kind of hard not to. The art style is the same. And you could take this one way, as in this is an attempt at social commentary about how easy it is to misidentify a criminal if you're a witness, which is super easy to do. Humans' memories are basically completely fictitious. You make up the memory the second you recall it, and it is only slightly based on truth, and often you can easily just implant false memories, and police and prosecutors know how to do that to an expert level. On the other hand, you could say this is an attempt at maybe one element of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. If you take out the traveling to different locations, one of the things about Carmen Sandiego games was you were given descriptions of who the criminal was going to be, and spoiler for a very old game, it never turned out to be Carmen Sandiego until you'd worked your way all the way up to the end of the game, and then you did catch Carmen Sandiego at the end, as someone who has done that. So I will say this game looks pretty simplistic. It does seem to fall pretty much down to the Flash animation style, and with multiple monitors enabled, as I have, hitting Alt-Enter to go into full screen mode causes it to crash. For me, seems to be like that helps. That happens. Seems like that happens for a lot of people. Enter the first and last name of the individual to reveal their personal crime history and expose them for the monster they really are. So you have an international crime database. I'm going into this game blind because I don't think there really is a lot of game here. And it seems like there's basically no menu. James Id, I think, also worked on The Binding of Isaac. I think I recognize his name. But I assume he's just a programmer that's good enough to work with. Alright. So, positive and definitely clues mean the witness is 100% sure. And so this is kind of like a deduction game. And note to self in the top right, it says, try and rule out who the criminal can't be before you finger anyone. only finger the guilty. So we're doing that, and then we can see here something here that says clown face, and then blog, and then 3 dogs murdered. And we're starting with the witness, Basic Bob, I think, or the bad guy's Basic Bob. Not really giving you a lot of instruction. This is something I also felt like Binding of Isaac had a problem with, is that they really should just tell you better what to do instead of making you figure it out. But I imagine this isn't a super long game. I'm positive he looked old. So we're looking for someone who looks So the first hint is that he looked old. Well, he says he. Does that mean we eliminate females? Can we positively identify a female? I would say this looks like a female. Let's look at the names. Gross Grog, Cool Cassie, Chiseled Coco, Nasty Nathan, Giant Gibson, and Nutty Nat. Well, let's see if we can assume that it's not Chiseled Coco, and it's not Cool Cassie. And Nutty Nat. I guess then you go to the next option. I'm positive he looked pale, so alright, we can then pretty much eliminate everybody except for this character. I'm positive he looked skinny. Well, this guy's fat. And so is this one. I'm positive he looked ugly, which a lot of these obviously are incredibly subjective things. And so now we've fingered the bad guy, and so now we're gonna execute him, which I am not upset with the idea of you thinking this, oh, he's gonna get carried away in handcuffs, and then it just jumps to the extreme. No, he's gonna be executed right now.
Yuck.
Congratulations, guilty man executed. Detective says meets meat. Blog, did you fart? Question mark. Fingernail has face. Dog fur glows. So that was our first little tutorial level. And I guess we are playing as the detective. That's about the best I can figure. It wouldn't make any sense to have multiple cases if you were the witness. Think clues will only be correct 60% of the time. Uh-oh. Nearsighted Nan, she tries her best. Just because people look bad doesn't mean they do bad things. Ugly people aren't all mean. I'm positive he looked light. Okay, well, then Babyface Butch can go, and Scared Sid can go. And see, clearly this is a kind of paper doll cut and paste mechanism where they've got different hats and maybe different arms and different color palettes. And the hints aren't so much hints like you're getting penalized for taking more hints. Fim Frog, Punky Phillip, and Nutty Nielsen, and I bet the names don't really matter too much. See, this one's kind of in the bad position where it'd be kind of nicer if they stayed mostly in the center and it just moved the people left and right. I think he did not like his last It did not look like he lost hair. I'm positive he looked like me. What am I supposed to take from that? Like, none of these people look like her. Closest one is the one in the middle. And let's see. I'm positive he looked really strange. Okay. I guess we have to finger Punky Phillip here, and I suspect the game might just go forward even if we're wrong. This is incredibly subjective, and I think that is the message here, and maybe the game itself is going to suffer in the fact that it is sending too much of a message in general, because he looked light. Well, this is probably the lightest skin character, but that's kind of a light purple, and that's kind of a light orange. And then I think he did not lose his hair. So if that's wrong, then it could be either one of these, so you might as well pick that. And then I'm positive he looked like me. In what sense? Like, hair the same? 2 eyes instead of 3 eyes? A nose? A mouth? Is the movement that she's doing right now, nearsighted Nan, supposed to indicate something? Am I supposed to match the color of her purple blouse to this character? I'm positive he looked really strange. They all look really strange.
Get him in the chair.
Now it's asking, which I hate to be questioned because that makes me feel like I'm wrong, but I'm going to have to say yes. And inevitably, there is, I think, just going to be a achievement of the 17 achievements for getting it wrong. Okay, goat killer on the loose. We all make mistakes. We'll just let that one slide. Okay. Nope, didn't get an achievement for that though. So yeah, it basically feels like until you figure out what specific traits are going to be important and what aren't, and get a decent feel of just what a weird person looks like in this universe of weird people, you're going to constantly make mistakes and just have to start over and over again, potentially, unless it just lets you continue playing no matter what. And clearly this is a social commentary, because next day we have Bigot Barney, he's racist, must buy dog collar, fake dog teeth, voice distorter. So clearly I think there is also a meta narrative hidden behind this, that we're gonna eventually try and track down this dog murderer. I'm positive he looked like a white person. Okay, but he's racist. I think he did not look like a freak. He definitely did not look like he had, like, money bags Mahoney. We have a character named Moneybag Mahoney. There we go.
You're done for.
This is Edmund Mcmillan. Let's kill him.
Heinous.
So that got me killed. That got me an achievement. To win the game, you must kill me, Edmund Mcmillan. Instant man executed. Detective says, leave me alone. Wait. This was for real. Man pushes women. Find your mugshot. So let's type in my name. Yeah. So I become Ragged Rydo, age 41, sex M, height 55'5", weight 146. I assume pounds. Charged with bludgeoning 4 talking dogs, sentenced to 69 years in an asylum. Okay, interesting. So let's just see if we type in James Id, because that's the easier name to type. You get Jagged James, charged with kidnapping over 100 people, sentenced to 8 months in jail. Very random things. And so, yeah, it seems like any name you type in here does just give you a random generated name. So names are seeded for appearances, which at a certain point, let's see if we can type in Edmund Mcmillan here. Let's see, Millen. I think I spelled that right. Elbow Edmund, a different Edmund here. 29, 5'7", weight 302 pounds. That doesn't look like 302. Charged with peeing on some old coot, sentenced to 1,000 years in the belly of a well. That didn't give me any kind of achievement. So what gets me about this is if names are the seed, then does that not then mean that there is very little chance of these people even having a name that would ever help you? Or maybe in the game it doesn't change. What's funny is they both have help question marks on their signs, like they're homeless, which I bet that is another statement that homeless people get gaffled up and put in police lineups all the time. Odd. And I think gender, generally, I think also is going to play a role, less of a role here. It seems like it is always a him, so it seems like we're never going to have females, or at least not until later. Which it would be weird to have males and females in the same lineup, but if they look similar, they should be in the same lineup. Detective says I'm like a god. I don't even know why I'm here. Bean dances for money. It is what you are. Okay. So it seems like Exalted Edmund's gonna show up multiple times. And I bet there's a decent chance it is never him until the very end. It looks like skin and bones, so let's get rid of some of the fatter characters. What I need to do is try to finger somebody without actually releasing anybody. It looked tiny. I think that pretty much gets rid of that one. I think they didn't look dark. Which one looks ugly? They both look ugly. Nasty Nil. Maybe it's in the name versus Professor Pogo. And if you release everybody, it just brings you to this screen. So I could see there really being only maybe 30 of these. You may be guilty of murder. Note to self. I think he did not look like someone I hate. I'm positive he looked like my paw. Father? Definitely did not look like a dwarf. So, if we see these babies and these hats, do they mean something? Like the pacifiers? I'm positive he looked bald. He looked bald, but we have a whole bunch of people with hats. This guy has a messed up nose like this guy. I assume when he says paw, P-A-W, he means father. And it's funny they started 0 here. So it's either 0 or 6. Let's just pick 6.
We're fingering you, buddy.
And see if that works.
Sexy.
Got it. And in that case, we did not release anybody. More fingers found. Dog glows. She's always so negative. Negative Nancy. Never use the work restroom. Don't order chicken pesto. Buy new undies. He definitely did not look dark. Okay. He definitely did not look like he owned his house. He definitely did not look tiny. He definitely did not look like a skeleton. So is the help sign an indication of being poor? Well, this is kind of the only light-skinned character, purple. Is there something more we can learn from these identifiers, though? But you have like 4 guys here, all that have bling on them. Gold chains and rings and tiaras. Snobby Sully, bling bling bam. Snobby Slappy, bling bling Bill. Cheap Con.
Oh, we're fingering you, buddy.
Okay. Now what we kind of really need is a checkpoint, either after this point or the next one. Detective says burn baby. Wait, what's happening? Old people die. Barking lowers stress. Dim Dan, he's usually wrong about something. Just because people look bad doesn't mean they do bad things. Ugly people aren't all mean. I'm positive he looked crazy. Now, is having a cigarette in your eye or on your ear crazy? I think he looked like a little one. I'm positive he looked like a skeleton. He definitely did not look like he's got money. They're doing a lot of negative here. See, here we have a whole new color. Okay. But none of these really overlap, so I have to think that a lot of this is really just random guessing. Which one of these characters, for instance, look crazy? I mean, that one looks pretty crazy. Nutty Nell in the name implies some craziness. Okay. I think he looked like a little one. I guess that's probably wrong. I'm positive he looked like a skeleton, and he is pretty skinny. He definitely doesn't look like he's got money. I think you have to pretty much just gamble. I mean, we could say, well, this guy has money here, so get rid of that. And then this guy's got a little tiara and a watch, so we can get rid of that. And we can say that one has a watch and tiara, so we can get rid of that. And positive he looked like a skeleton. Maybe gets rid of gross Giorgio. Yeah. And then craziness. Misunderstood Mason. Yeah. As far as the crazy people, I'd say it's this one and this one. And they have like a smile animation. Do they all smile when you put the light on them? Nope. You can't double click on the guy?
No, we're fingering you, buddy.
Finger him.
And so you don't get another chance. You don't get another chance until except for that very first time. Alright. Looking for someone bald. Neat and tidy. Rich. And chunky.
Oh, we're fingering you, buddy. Sexy.
Yeah, this feels like this could be incredibly repetitive, and unless this was like Binding of Isaac, where the more you play you unlock hints or help, which I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to give you items or hints or anything like that. I think the only thing here that you could get that would make you get better at this game is just understanding what aspects are the important aspects visually of these characters. And there is definitely a statement to be made as far as being completely uninterested in what they did. Well, I think we'll just
Clearly,
take this.
He did it. Disgusting.
If we have to reset, we should try and get it right on the first try without looking at any of the other hints, just to see if there's an achievement for that. Okay. I wonder, I mean, kind of there's no choice but it to just be either this guy or this guy. I wonder if him being a bigot actually doesn't play into a role at all. Well, yeah, and he's saying looked like a white person. There's all kinds of different all kinds of different shades of colors here. Nothing that you would just say is a direct white. Alright, yeah. And that one let us skip forward, but it didn't before. So maybe we just get some extra options. Alright. Let's release this one then. Of course, there is also a problem with the idea of saying somebody that has bling on is likely to own their house. That's often the exact opposite situation. Definitely did not look nice and neat. I think that pretty much leaves it at this character then.
Yuck.
Well, we got to go forward. Detective says next, my ghost will haunt you. If you go 5 days, then that would be a full work week. So that would be a good point to potentially put a checkpoint in. Definitely did not look ugly. Alright, well, if you have a messed up bruised face, I think that's gonna fall under ugly. I think he looked like a mess. I'm positive he looks like he's got money.
Finger.
Alright, we are a little bit further. Let's see. Give my loves to my friends and family. The fingernail cure. Twins bark at wall. Only half-truths. Now from Evil Eddie. In day 6. I think he did not look hairy. He definitely did not look tall. I think he looked smart. I'm positive he looked wealthy. So the question is, as far as half-truths, do the think and the definitely still mean the same thing, or are they now possibly lies? This puts everything into question, and really you're not going to get a confirmation anyway, so I think we just pick this guy.
Oh, we're fingering you.
It feels like you have to just be flippant and go forward and not agonize over your decisions, even though this is exactly the kind of decision that you should agonize over and put a lot of thought and a lot of time into. But there's just not enough evidence, really. It's all so subjective. It's all made obviously subjective. And now the good news is I don't think too many court cases really completely are around a positive ID by a witness. There definitely have been some instances of a miscarriage of justice because of false positive identification, certainly, but most of the time they will specifically choose to, most of the time, most court cases, if they're going to be prosecuted, are prosecuted with a lot more evidence than just a single person's ID. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways to wear somebody down and get them to make a false confession on top of a false ID. Or wear down somebody to make them make a false ID. See, this is very different now, this background, and it seems like more and more we might be the bad guy. Bad guy die here. Showing up. Note to self, it's best to release all people who don't fit the description because you might accidentally finger them. That's bad. Opposite Opie. He describes people in the opposite. I'm positive he looked manly. Alright, so at this point we have to assume that this is the opposite of everything. He's even facing this the wrong way. So if he looked fat, then he's actually skinny. So let's release all the fat people. If he looked messy, then he looked clean. So let's see if we want to release any messy people. I think this is messy. I don't know. Interesting how that cycled around like that. Wealthy. Means we can get rid of this one and this one. Notice how it takes the release button away and makes you wait a second so you can't just accidentally hit the button. May have made a mistake here because here you have Macho Mitchell with a beard, and then you have Chiseled Chris with a mustache, both of which look manly. I'm positive he looked messy. I think that means we have to release this guy, and we probably made a mistake.
Finger him.
Sorry, folks. That man had a family.
There we go. Okay. So
Get
I'm
him in
gonna
the
just
chair.
immediately finger somebody very quickly.
Sexy.
Wow. That did not unlock any achievements, which makes me think that the game is longer than I think it is, or what I thought it would be.
Fingered.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I really want to grind out a game like this, though. And see, while this guy might be racist, he may be very honest too, so he may speak in racist terms while still always telling the truth. Alright, well.
Clearly, he did it. Fingered.
Yeah. There's just a level of I think, grindiness to this that I'd have to kind of question whether it's really worth playing for much longer than an hour or two. This is definitely a smaller game than The Binding of Isaac. Now, in all fairness, I could see, had I played this game for hours and hours, and then I went and played Binding of Isaac and thought it was just a simplistic rogue game without hundreds of unlockables hidden behind it, I could also have seen myself, if I didn't know any better, simply dismissing Binding of Isaac also. Nice and neat. Alright, so we're down to let's hope that's right.
Beautiful.
Interesting sound effects. I'm positive he looked like he had no hair. Right. Looked like no hair. So if he's totally wrong about that, then I just got rid of everybody.
Sexy.
Wow, that maybe it is just gonna get easier and easier as you play. I'm positive he looked like a jock. Well, then that would eliminate a lot of these other people. I don't know if this is supposed to be... No, that's just the number 4. And then this one is holding the 4 fingers up. Interesting. Or doing a Vulcan salute. I think he did not look tough. I think he did not look fat. I'm positive he looked bald. Alright, well. Well, either he's bald or he's a jock. I think he's both. So I think that probably leaves us with just these two. I think he did not look fat. I think he did not look tough. Is this a tough guy?
Oh, we're fingering you, buddy.
Just risk it. There feels like they're introducing new characters too. Detective says I'm so rad. Fingers found in shake. Dogtooth whisperers. So we're back to day 7. Positive he looked clean. So anyone who looks clean should probably go away. And see, these two have trash on their head, but the rest of these have like snot on their face. So I'm positive he looked dumb. Well, then I think that means we get rid of this one, because remember, this is the negative guy. I'm positive he looked hairy. Probably means we get rid of this guy. I'm positive he looked young. Which one of these looks younger? Maybe this guy? This guy is dirty. This guy has like a book, so he's probably not dumb. Harry. This guy is bald. That's the opposite. And then old. Yeah, it feels 50-50.
Clearly, he did it. Sorry, folks.
And
That man had
oops.
a family.
Yeah. And it seems like the game knew in that case that there was a decent chance of making mistakes, so it let me go. Watch the time. If it runs out, you will finger at random now. Alright, so now it's making the game even more crazy. The longer I do this, the harder it gets. Sometimes you just gotta take a guess. So there's now straight up a time element to this. I'm positive he looked wealthy. Well then we have 1 minute to make a decision. He definitely did not look overweight. And I guess that means definitely did not look like a hippie. I'm positive he looked all wimpy. So you got 50-50 shot at random between those two. Positive he looked wealthy. Let's release this one. Then again, this guy looks like he's in a bra, so
Heinous.
Positive he looked short, looked skinny, looked bald, and looked pale. Sure, let's go with the first one. Is it always the first one on the first try?
Disgusting.
I bet it is. I bet it's always number 0. I'm positive he looked like me. I'm positive he looked unkempt. I'm positive he looked really strange. I think he did not look like he lost his hair. When she says looks like me, I think she means whiter in skin.
Disgusting.
I guess that would be the default thing to assume here. Positive he looks like someone I hate. I think he looked like a twig. Definitely did not look bald. Definitely did not look like a pig. Alright, well then it's probably this guy. Let's just move this away. Now we assume that the white guy hates black guys and darker skinned people, but
Get him in the chair.
like it's possible he hates tans more tans, Spanish origin this people, whether that's Mexican or Puerto Rican, things like that, or Chinese, who knows. Definitely did not look dark. Definitely did not look totally old. He definitely did not look tiny, so he's big. He's poor. He's white. And he's young. Right, so we get rid of that one. That one. That one. Okay. White. Young. I guess this is supposed to be younger with the nose ring. time. Yeah.
Get him in the chair.
Yeah, we'll just have to do it. He's got braces on his teeth. Maybe that was what it meant by young. Yeah, there's probably a lot more animation having to put into this. Crazy, old, and a mess. And then maybe big. Right, so let's just assume that all of these mean this, and then, yeah. This looks like a mess. Crazy with the paper hat. Old because of the beard.
Get him in the chair. He was probably guilty of something. Try again. And yeah. Maybe you get more points the more people you eliminate. Definitely did not look smart. I'm positive he looks like a wimp. See, this guy's holding a number 2. Well, this guy has a book, but he has a cigarette too. Alright. You have like a marijuana leaf. Alright. He definitely did not look smart. So get rid of the people with books then. And does that boil down to getting rid of people with glasses also? I think it does. It's the only thing that would kind of make sense. Get rid of everybody with glasses. Alright. I think he looked young. This guy doesn't look particularly young. I think he did not look bald. This guy's bald. So definitely did not look smart. Definitely looked like a wimp. I'm gonna pick this guy even though he's doing the number 2 sign. Beautiful. So sometimes it's a case of them trying to point towards someone else. This time it's somebody positive he looked bald. This one's kind of pointing at themselves. There's another 2. There's another 2. I'm positive he looked fat. So, yeah, let's get rid of all the fat people then. Positive he looked tall. Let's see if that works. Oops. Okay, so let's check the achievements here then. I'm gonna go over to my second monitor and bring up the achievements. And let's see, we have an achievement here called The Tale of Blood, which beats day 7. And then Blood Feast, or Blood Fest, which is beat day 14. And then Wizard of Gore, which is beat the game. So there's pretty much, I guess, only 21, if I was to guess, characters. That makes a lot of sense. 21 days. And then there's a special character 1, which is electrocute a suspect for looking funny. And then that goes up to special character 15. And so there's these hints at special characters. And then beat the game without using a continue. Complete 100% of the achievements. And then there are 3 hidden achievements. Let's see. And then let's see what the global completion ratio here is. Well, beating day 7, only 49.3% of people have even done that. Electrocuting Edmund Mcmillan, 9.9% of people have done that. But then, yeah, fairly quickly, to get to past day 14, only 9% of players have gone that far. Yeah. It doesn't seem like a lot of people stuck with this game.
Get him in the chair.
Very quick for very much.
Bummer.
Okay, so it's not always the first guy.
Clearly, he did it.
So it does feel like you could just try and brute force this, but I think I made a mistake there.
You're done for. Sexy.
Yeah. Looked really strange. And I imagine these extra characters are going to look very, very different, like Edmund Mcmillan. So
Clearly, he did it.
So yeah, I imagine they want you just to play this over and over again. But I don't know if I have any real criticism to say more for this. Like, this does definitely feel like a game that is specifically trying to make commentary and trying to be more of a social comment than a video game. And usually I hate those kinds of games because they tend to really suck. That Dragon Cancer is one that comes to mind as a game kind of trying to tell a story about a baby having cancer.
Clearly,
I'm just going to pick somebody at random. And
sexy.
And then oddly they seem to be upset when streamers wanted to cover and play there and show off that game, that Dragon Cancer. There's also several other indie games, a lot of visual novels in particular, that try to be commentaries on things. A lot of LGBTQ plus type of games that come out as visual novels, and kinetic visual novels, in the sense that they don't even have branching paths in their decisions.
Clearly, he did it. Disgusting.
I think there probably is a bit of a commentary here on just how many men are executed. I don't think there's been a female executed in the United States in at least 30 years, and if there was one, there literally was one. And in all fairness, women tend not to be murderers and deserving of capital punishment, if anyone's deserving of capital punishment. But there's definitely a divide on sentencing between men and females, and the fact that everybody here is a male in the pronoun that they're using, at least, even if a lot of these characters do look like females. I'm gonna pick this
Get him
one.
in the chair.
But yeah, I feel like this feels more like a mobile game, something that you could potentially play in smaller doses than an hour straight and just burn through it. But also, you probably would have needed a lot more randomization here and a second or third gameplay mechanic. Something kind of high action. If all of a sudden things were flying at the screen and I had to click on them to clear the screen as the timer was going down, and maybe we'll get to that point later, but yeah. Let's get rid of the bald people, I guess. See, this kind of looks like Michael Jackson, but then you risk potentially ruining your run, but you want that one good run first before you start to I think he looked like a jock. I think he did not look hairy. Definitely did not look bald.
You're done for. Well, that's a total bummer.
Yeah. There's just kind of nothing else to do here other than to just grind through the game. So, here's what I think I'll do. We've been playing for an hour. I think I've said about as much as I can say, really. The game is clearly more of an art piece than an actual video game. It is much like the board game Guess Who, in the fact that Guess Who can easily be cheated if you know the right attributes, since there's a finite number of attributes to ask the question on. But it is also like Guess Who in the fact that it's also fairly easy to be cheated out of a victory at Guess Who if the person answering the questions on the other side of the table is misinterpreting things or interpreting things differently. It's often hard to make that mistake unintentionally, but it can happen. But yeah, I also feel like Guess Who probably went through hundreds, if not thousands of hours of game testing before it was released in its current form, so that there would be very distinctive, very obvious facts. Now, I should probably own up that
I often feel like I have face blindness to a certain extent, probably not to a really extreme extent. And so I find it often hard to tell the difference between one actor and another anyways on TV or movies. So it could be that this game is way more obvious than what I think it is. And there are clearly factors and elements that I am catching up on and figuring out. So, yeah. I think I could probably beat this game, but I don't think there's anything more to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up here. And then if I find any more content or anything worth showing, I'm going to play off screen, and if there's anything new that needs to be added, it will just get added into the video right now. You know what? I'll pause the video and then I'll come back in one form or another and wrap up the video after that. And this may be another hour of gameplay. It may be another 2 hours, another 3 hours, another 4 hours, may even be 5 hours. I think probably not much more than that. If I'm spending 5 hours playing this game off screen, I'm probably just wasting my time at that point. That seems to be definitely what most people realized very quickly in the game, because it drops from people getting past day 7, and that being 49.3% of the player base, all the way down to the next highest achievement being Special Character 12, which only 11.8% of players saw it. Obviously, there is more to this game, clearly, after day 7, more than just a timer. But it's not hinted towards. Even worse than Binding of Isaac. At least Binding of Isaac gives you squares with question marks and tells you kind of a number, and it tells you that there's 178 secrets in the Binding of Isaac Rebirth's base game. So you know that there's things to find. It gives you challenges, even if the challenges aren't unlocked. It shows a place where they are. Here, there's nothing like that, where it feels like it would be very easy for there to have been something on this calendar to indicate a level of progress, and something on this calendar should have been marked off, or something on the desk appearing and the main screen changing a little bit, or some sort of encouragement to keep going. And in a funny way, the social commentary here, I think, very much is to not go forward. This guy is wanted, so I probably should electrocute this guy if I see him, no matter what. Interesting. That might be a hint. And then the whole type in a name and get something. I mean, it's just nothing. It definitely is not enough of a thing. And then if you click print here, that literally just tries to save it as a picture. Doesn't even actually try to print. It's probably pretty hard for people to program towards printing these days. It is easier to just save it as a screenshot. But yeah, I'll come back after playing a little bit, and at the very least, what we'll do is if I get past the day 7, then I should come back and show that off. So yeah, for you, I'll be right back. For me, it might be a very long time. Okay, I'm back. 31 minutes later of just grinding through this. I've made it to day 9. Now what's weird is day 7 was the first achievement, and Steam seems to not be registering that achievement, so it may just be so broken. There may be a lot more people that would have gotten that achievement but simply didn't.
So we have Broken Bella. She has head problems. I don't know if we're going to have a timer now for every choice going forward, or if that was just that one time. There was one character that I thought was a secret special character, and I messed up a run trying to execute them, but it turned out not to be the case. This indicator here says day 7, or if we started with no marks, but we are actually on day 9, so that's weird. Note to self, it's bad if you send innocent people to the electric trail. Try harder not to kill people. Alright, so we don't have a timer. I'm positive he looked yucko. I'm positive he looked he looked a big daddy. I'm positive he looked like a blubber guy. I'm positive he looked a no dollars man. So the instructions are not particularly that different. So no dollars man means get rid of the one with the gold rings and the gold watch and camera. And then yucko we'll deal with later. Big daddy probably means either tall or fat. We can get rid of this one and this one. He looked blubber guy, so he is a tall guy. There is something weird about the height measurements here, that these are like 7 feet tall people, and an average 5 foot person is so incredibly smaller. We have here blubber guy, so we can kind of release that one. And then this one is more of a figure, hourglass figure character, so we probably would want to not take that one. Yucko could mean a lot of things. Maybe this one. Probably. Big Daddy is tall, certainly, relatively speaking. But are you speaking relatively? I guess you aren't. Blubber guy. No dollars. This one has a camera, though. No dollars, man. And this one has a nice hat. This guy's broke. Unkempt Uriel. Yucko. Big guy, relatively speaking. Fat guy.
Get him in the chair.
It is probably a little bit nicer to play without the audio on, too, I'll say. Hearing me screams is gonna wear on anybody. Okay. Nope, this is still 7 here. And it doesn't seem like the information changes too much on notes and things like this. Bullhead Bart, he never repeats himself. Well, that's probably useful. He definitely did not look like a fatty. Okay. So you can get rid of this guy and this guy. And see, it's kind of hard to tell if this one's fat or not from that clothing. You probably would release that one for... We can release that guy. He's pretty fat. And, yeah. He definitely did not look ugly. And see, now it's locked. He doesn't repeat himself. Alright. So, ugly I think means probably unkempt, running nose, things like that, drooling. Otherwise we have nothing. Yeah. He definitely did not look poor. I don't know if that helps anything here. He definitely did not look like a jock. So I think that probably is cool, Chippy.
You're done for.
We hope so.
Finger!
Detective says, burn baby, I can still see his face. Wart tried for murder. Is it? It is what you are. So now we have very clues, and so this kind of stinks because if you get stuck at any point in this game, which you almost certainly will, unless there's something that finally unlocks, like to let you start at like day 10 or something, you're not going to be able to see this content. Where if this was closer to the Binding of Isaac, I would expect that you'd start seeing very clues earlier on and more helpful things unlock earlier on. Very clues describe someone who matches the most. Articulate owl. Articulate art. He's very specific. There was a mobile game I played called The Devil's Advocate that feels kind of like this, but in that game, you're doing more storyline based argument as a lawyer, trying to get off guilty people, and I think that's more of a fun way to address the judicial system, and that there was actual skills or points you got for each level you beat, and that gave you more currency of some sort that let you buy more items to decorate your apartment, and then the more items you bought to decorate your apartment actually gave you more skills to use in your court cases. So it was this 3 game mechanic circle and cycle where you would do a court case, spend money with the shopping mechanic, and then decorate your apartment and look around your apartment. I don't think there was any research or anything else you did, but sorry, I took a moment there to drink some water. Yeah. I think that the Devil's Advocate mobile game is a better way to tell a very similar tale. I'm positive he looked rather manly. So the most manly of them, which, like pearls. But see, then you have like mustaches too. And beards. And see, that's the question is, does a beard then get countered by a girly hat? Also, we're seeing a lot of people with boxing gloves on for one reason or another. I'm positive he looked intelligent, so which one do we think is the most manly guy? Probably this guy. Which guy do we think is the most intelligent guy? I mean, this guy seems to have the most things in general, so I'm leaning towards that one or that one. I'm positive he looked very weak. So it's the very that's the new thing. not the positive. Okay. Who would be the weakest? Because that may be the important thing here. Very rather young. I think it's this guy. I think the beanie hat and the pacifier says young. Weak just means he doesn't have big muscular arms and or doesn't have boxing gloves on. Intelligent, smart sunglasses, I guess. And well kempt. And manly with the mutton chops.
Get him in the chair.
I am... If we can just make it to day 14, I'll be amazed.
Fingered.
Like, I'm trying my best, but it really only takes one mistake. Detective says, let's eat. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Child says, bad word. Their teeth are magic. Dusty Dirk, he's dirty. Must buy dog collar. Fake dog teeth. Voice disorder. Bad guy die. Does that mean anything? Like BGDAUIDYE? No, maybe you should type that into the computer. We could try that. He definitely did not look huff gothic. Oh. Well, I now see what they mean by dirty. Okay. Okay, well that's definitely a different twist on it, but it also kind of feels like he's running out of ideas. The game developers are. Definitely did not look huff chubby. Well, then let's get rid of that guy. And that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. I think he did not look hairy. I think you're 60% at the time, so you should probably lean towards believing that. Definitely did not look good looking. Well, I think that gets rid of this guy with the pouty lips and the eyebrows then. And I think that probably gets rid of that guy too, but let's go through this again. Gothic. Well, this guy might be a little gothic. Chubby, no. Hairy. So, probably go with this guy, but I mean, they're both hairy. Definitely did not look good looking. Alright. Well, I'm gonna hope this is right.
Guess what? You killed the wrong guy.
Detective says looks guilty, but I just got custody of my kids. Crazed killer poops. I had picked the wrong one. Alright. So let's try this. Bad guy die. It was spelled that way, right?
Frolicking with a tree, 8 hours in some place. 28, sex male. There are there any females? Let's try this. Sex male. Sex male. Sex male. Sex male. Sex male. Sex male. Yeah. I went all the way up to H. The odds should be closer to 50-50 if there was any female here. Let's try a distinct female name like Jill. Sex male. Yeah. We'll try bad guy die, all one word. There probably are some secrets here that would do something interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there are actually some unlockables by typing in things like Super Meat Boy. So if we typed in meat, nope. And then shovel knight. No. Isaac. No. Mario. Yeah, if there is something here you can type into this, it's not gonna be something obvious. Certainly. Okay, well, that puts us back to where we were again. The person behind the glass here changes every time we get to the main menu, so I guess maybe this is your bonus character you're looking for in every run. But this person seems to not have changed, so maybe that's a bonus person. Honestly, at this point though, I'm willing to play it a little bit more, but I'm also kind of gonna look at some strategies, because this really is one of those games that if it is much more than a 2-hour experience, I would be increasingly dissatisfied instead of satisfied, because yeah, it's not doing a roguelite style gameplay. Instead, it's just doing a very pure rogue-like gameplay, in the sense that there is no progress being carried over from one run to the next run, as far as I can tell. Either that, or I just have not succeeded far enough to unlock progress, which that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm gonna pause the video again, and then I may come back and just wrap up, or I may have some more to show. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. It's been another hour and a half at least of me trying to get any further in the game, and it's just not really gonna happen in a reasonable time frame. It could be another 2 hours, or it could be 2 weeks of just playing this game off and on, because it's so luck based, really. I've looked up walkthroughs as far as what's the trick with each character. I've looked up a walkthrough that talks about each attribute and what you're really looking for. There are very specific things, and I won't bother to go through them all and just say check out the walkthroughs after about a couple hours. But it is very understandable now why less than half of the players have made it even past the first act, because it just becomes this exponentially more difficult problem to just get that perfect run. And once you get the perfect run and win, I imagine there's never going to be another reason to even play the game for victories. You would just then grind out for special characters. I have a decent amount of the achievements, 12 out of 24. Most of the achievements are around different characters and that just randomly appear, most of which are either references to people that Edmund Mcmillan knows, or characters that Edmund Mcmillan created for some of his other games, or just general universal monster characters, which is a little bit weird. As for the main game, the furthest we've ever gotten was day, 12. And on average, at best, I'm getting to like day 8 in most cases. So it would be really hard to go any further to get much more progress. And see, if I was going to try and make a whole series out of this, I would then have to play off screen to get to day 12 or day 13 to show off something new, and then I'd probably die, and then I'd have to work my way up further and further in that direction towards day 21. Like, I'm really not making it but about halfway there. So day 13, I'll just tell you these characters, is a character named Shai Shannon. And I could go through the walkthrough and tell you like the unique things about her characters. Like, she says specific phrases. Each character, almost all of them, at least says something unique that then has to be connected. For instance, day 12's Dusty Dirk, when he says the character was like me, that's supposed to mean poor, whereas like me meant old with the day 2 character. And then if you get to day 14, you have IBS Iggy, which is another character with a 1-minute timer. And then if you get to day 14, you get Piggish Pip, who speaks in Pig Latin. Then, and see, at that point, it definitely feels like he ran out of ideas. And this whole game screams that it ran out of ideas halfway through, and that there probably should have just been 10 days, or this should have been an idea that was put on the back burner until you could put a different gameplay mechanic together and merge two ideas. And at a certain level, maybe that is the problem with a lot of indie games in general, is that they're just too far away from what you expect in a video game nowadays. Day 16 is Dying Daryl, which you have a 1-minute timer, and he won't repeat any clues. And then day 17 is Dark Danielle. After a while, the lights begins to flicker and then goes completely dark. You can still click on the portraits in the bottom right to see the suspects' faces, however, although most descriptions aren't just face-based. And then day 18 is a magic mic. After a short while, Mike will change some of the suspect's face to his own. Work quickly to eliminate as many suspects as you can before he does so. Opening the portraits in the corners does not help. Day 19 is a character named Zorbo. Zorbo's clues are spelled backwards, and there's a 1 minute timer in play, so they're heavily leaning on that 1 minute timer. A lot of these characters, I will also say, have like 4 positive clues. So they kind of ran out of even the idea of the clues being thinks or I'm certain of. Day 20 is opposite OP2, which is just a 1 minute timer with opposite OP again. And then day 21 is a character named Dog, which is a dog. And he barks and does nothing else. So there's probably a trick there. I don't want to spoil it. Although I could also see it being incredibly frustrating if you can't figure out what the barks mean. In your first run, I would say go and look at an achievement guide. There's a lot of traits, certainly, attributes that you should probably look up after an hour or so of playing this game, just to really understand what they're caring about and what they aren't caring about. There's a lot of characters, secret characters. You should just probably know what you're looking for anyways. Otherwise, there's too high of a chance that you would skip over them. There's also some glitches in this game in that you get the same name sometimes. So 2 characters with the exact same name, but names do play a role. So usually the first word in a name will possibly be used towards a a hint. So I would say definitely look at the names, and that has helped me a little bit. But yeah, I am overall unimpressed by this indie game, and I suppose in a certain level that highlights the fact that Edmund Mcmillan's concepts and ideas can be funny and interesting for a while, but they heavily need really, really good gameplay to synergize with them. And it is, I think, very fair to say that the person who did all the main programming originally for Binding of Isaac probably did more work to make it a successful game than Edmund Mcmillan did by putting the art style and themes to it. And it really is kind of a marriage in heaven, I would say, of just 2 creators, one with a good gameplay mechanic concept meeting someone with at least a strong enough artistic vision to have something that catches people's attention. Now, I've always felt like Isaac could easily be reskinned and look completely different and still play the same way and be a great game. So it almost feels like Edmund Mcmillan's contribution may not even be that good. But as for Fingered, yeah, it's definitely feels like it's trying to make some social commentary more than have a real game, or it was like a game jam indie game that was made in 48 hours. It feels like a game that you could have easily started the bones of at least in 48 hours. And
I really don't think that this could just be the main gameplay loop alone. When you compare this to something like Papers, Please, there's, in that game, which I haven't even gotten around to playing, there's a whole narrative that happens through that. There's a lot more opportunity to forgive mistakes in Papers, Please. There's multiple endings. There's a lot more to do. The game increases difficulty in a more smoother and natural way instead of just a different challenge every day. But even at that, Papers, Please is probably not something that's going to feel like a traditional video game. And yeah, I might have even played more off screen, but I started a little late. So now it is 2 or 3 in the morning as I wrap up this recording, because yeah, I don't want to leave a video paused for 12 hours or longer. That's going to be it for the series. There's really not a lot to this game, so there's not a lot to say. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. If you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wish list. That'd be very helpful. Also, I have a playlist tab on my YouTube page where you can watch any of the other games I've ever covered, including The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which I would suggest if this art style caught your attention. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.